What was that?
Hey, good afternoon, Zach. Damn, you're looking good today.
Pretty sure you just said that if we screw it up, we'll record something else. But we do one take only. Um, yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
There's
it's
like
the
no
good, the bad. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. You get it all in 15 to 20 minutes.
well, maybe we'll do a short one. People sometimes like the short one.
Oh, yeah, well, we can try.
All right, so why don't we share? Title of today's video is going to be something along the lines of how do you actually know what's a fair offer to make on a car? And the reason that I want to talk about this today is because we get lots of live chats, yourautoadvocate.com. There's a little chat widget, and so frequently, and I'm the one that replies to those live chats. So frequently, I see this car online, it's listed for this price. Can I make an offer of $5,000 less than that? And then I reply back to these people. I say, I mean, you can try. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. So I wanted to pose the question to you, Ray, Dad, Rad.
Yeah.
What is a fair value when you're going to make that initial offer to a dealership, whether you're looking for a new or a used car? Where should you start?
Okay. Well, here's one of the things you really have to take into consideration at the moment. With the advent of the World Wide Web, it has forced dealers or dealers have chosen, in order to be at the top of the list, to well, advertise pricing that has everything taken out of it to begin with,
What do you
including
mean by
profit.
that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you might see that the MSRP of the vehicle, say, is 39,950, and they have it on their website for 33,687. And what they've done to get to that price is, well, that's that price plus destination. They've utilized incentives that you might not qualify for, such as recent college graduate, first responder, active duty or retired military. I mean, they have so many incentives that are available to them that they put all of them into these quotes. So the quotes typically aren't real, but sometimes they are. And then to think that you're going to go in and offer them, I don't know, $5,000 less than that. Well, if they could have sold it for $5,000 less than that, they probably would have advertised it for $5,000 less than that.
And we did a whole video on why internet pricing is a lie, because of exactly
Yes.
what you just said. Unless you're a
Yeah.
unicorn and you check every single box, um,
Yes.
you're not going to qualify for that price that you actually see on Car Gurus or on the dealer's website. It's that
Yeah.
race to the bottom.
Yeah. Typically. So, what I would do, I mean, the, you can rest assured that in most cases, there's somewhere between, depending on the MSRP of the car, somewhere between 2% and 10 to 12% of margin built into a car. And when I say margin built into a car, that's the amount from the MSRP down to the invoice. Okay, if the invoice is 35,300 and the MSRP is 39,750, that's the margin. There's
Yeah.
like $4,000 worth of margin.
That's the spread
Um,
for the dealer.
the spread for the dealer, and that's spread. And then sometimes there could be holdback, which can impact it, and might be 2 or 2.5%. So ultimately, if you get to like 12%, remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about that G wagon. Well, that
My future
12%.
G-Wagon.
Pardon me. Yeah.
My future G-Wagon.
Yeah, your future G wagon. So that 12% margin, that was 12% from invoice to MSRP. Well, it was actually 6% from invoice to MSRP and 6% in back end money from Mercedes-Benz, which was hold back and other incentives. So that's where the 12% spread came in. So if you assume that an average $40,000 car has a spread of about 8%. So 4 times 8 is 3,200. So in an average $40,000 MSRP, there's $3,200 spread from invoice to MSRP that the dealer has to play with. And we're not even talking about holdback or anything like that at that point. So if you know that, and you know that the dealer has to make some type of profit to stay in business, and I know there are a lot of our viewers who say, well, they're scum and they shouldn't make any money at all. Well, I don't know what fantasy land you're living in, but anybody that's invested the money to build these stores, well, they're entitled to make a profit. I'm sorry, hate to break it to you, but they're entitled to it. There's no other reason for them to do that. So having said all that, go ahead.
Well, I just want to hit you with they're entitled to make that profit so long as people go there. The unfortunate reality is if the customer experience continues to be as terrible as it has been, they'll go out of business someday, right?
Well, yeah, if they don't improve the way they do business, yeah.
Just want to make sure that's like,
Yeah. So now that you completely stopped my train of thought,
I'll hear about that in the comments below.
so if you know that there's that 8 to 10%, so if you know that there's $3,200 built in, and then that there might be some incentive, some customer incentive, maybe the incentive's $1,000 or $1,250, whatever it is. Well, that means that there's now $4,200 of profit. You can't go in and tell them and suggest to them, well, here, I know that your car is $40,000. I want to give you 32. That's great. Not realistic, and if you don't get a response because the offer is what they might consider to be somewhat of a low ball offer, it's like when somebody has a house to sell and somebody goes in and makes a low ball offer, and then they wonder why the owner didn't get back to them or counter. It's because you insulted the owner. Now, it's pretty hard to insult a car guy. I admit it. That is virtually impossible. Okay, but still a minor possibility. So if there's 8%, maybe you go in and say, hey, can you take 6% off, make a 2% profit, plus give me whatever incentives or rebates that I might qualify for? Or can you say to the dealer, I understand that your invoice is X. Okay, I'll pay you 200 over X, plus you give me all the incentives and everything else. I want you to stay in business. I want you to make a profit because God forbid I ever have a problem with my car. I want you to be able to be there to service it for me. I don't want to drive by and suddenly see that you've shuttered your doors because, well, nobody wanted you to make any money. Dealers, for the most part, not all dealers, but the vast majority of dealers, they're okay with just kind of cutting to the chase and making a reasonable profit. They don't have to make a huge profit off of everybody. They're okay with making a reasonable profit. But you can't go in and I mean, I've seen some overcomers. Well, I'd go in and I'd offer them, I don't know, 40% off of MSRP. Okay, well then nobody talks to you. You'll understand why.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
So I guess the rule of thumb, Dad, would be, and I think you wrote about this in one of the guides for the website as well, which I appreciate. So 8% maybe is kind of like a baseline that you could work with for a $40,000 car. It's not set in stone, but it's just a baseline. And then on some of your maybe more economy class cars, your Hyundais, your Kias, maybe you're looking at 3%, 2%.
2, 3, maybe 4, yeah.
So if you're thinking about, how much money can I, whittle off of that price and what should I go in for my initial offer, use some of those percentages as your baseline. If you're like our friend who is buying that G-Wagon, understand that there's a lot. I mean, that there it's 12, right? And that's a 6-figure car. So maybe you go in and and in that case, they were offering to just pay MSRP and they still couldn't get the deal. But I think the sentiment is still there and rings true, which is depending on the value of the car, the MSRP of the car, you can use a percentage to justify your initial offer rather than just coming up with, well, you should get $5,000 off or the 40% off MSRP. Those things are a little unrealistic.
I saw one of the comments today where somebody said, well, you can get 25% off. Well, maybe you can in December on certain things at the end of the year when there's huge incentives. But just because that happens in December, it doesn't mean it happens in March, or it doesn't mean it happens in June. It happens in December for a reason. It's the change of the year. The 25% off might be on the remaining inventory of the previous model year, like you're going from 2020 to 2021, if there's 2020 trucks still on the lot that Dodge is desperate to get rid of, they might incentivize them so that a dealer can give 25% off. Come January 2nd in most cases. After that, it's not happening.
And
You
you
know,
did that for a client recently. I think there was a 2019 model year vehicle that was still being sold as new, and I think you ended up at 23% off MSRP, something like that.
23.5%, yeah, with rebates, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
pretty good on a $30,000 vehicle. That's pretty good.
no, that's
Okay.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then other times you can't get that. But you, you know, it's not that hard to get what invoice cost is
Yeah, you get on
on.
online.
Yeah, you can find just about anything you want regarding the pricing of vehicles online. Now, let's say you wanted to go to your local furniture store and you wanted to find out what their invoice cost was for that sofa you're looking at. You can't find that online, okay? But you can on the automobile you want to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well, I
know,
guess so.
truth be told, the furniture store is probably making more per sofa than most car dealers are making per car.
No, you're probably right, but I guess just to put a bow on this, to come full circle, so the idea is, what's a reasonable offer? If I'm out there and I'm listening to this, I'm curious. I want to know, what should I be offering for that vehicle so that I can make a deal? Do something percentage based. Think about where you are in terms of the total MSRP, not the internet price, but the MSRP of the vehicle. Look at the Monroney label or the window sticker. What does the MSRP say? If you're in that 40, 30, 40, $50,000 range, think about maybe 6% off of MSRP. If you're in the lower tiers in the 18, 19, 20, 25,000, think about 2 or 3% off of MSRP. Those are some good rules of thumb that you can use when you're out there car shopping and engaging with dealers.
And if I may just add one more thing, do some research. Do a little bit of research, and you can find out, what a reasonable expectation should be for how much you can get off on any given car. And go to the manufacturer websites to see what the customer incentives are on top of everything else. That's all. I mean, you shouldn't go into a dealership if there's a $1,500 customer incentive and the dealership is saying, okay, we'll charge you MSRP, but we'll give you that $1,500 incentive. You say, that's great. Now, how much you taking off of MSRP? But you need to know what these things are before.
And a shameless plug, if you don't feel like having to do all that, just contact us. YourAutoAdvocate.com. This is what Ray and I do. This is what Dad and I do. This is what we do every single day, is working these car deals for our customers. So hopefully this is useful for you. If you are going to go out on your own and do this, call, send emails, use these kind of thresholds, these rules of thumb. If you're getting fed up and pissed off, come to the website, chat me. I'll reply back to you.
Yes, it's what our team does. Are you ready for our outro?
Yeah, I think I'm okay with an outro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Folks, we're done now. We'll see you again tomorrow, I promise.
We're doing it tomorrow?
Sure, why not?
All right, works for me. I love you. I'll see you then.
Okay, bye-bye.